Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Hello there.
Today we're plunging into a really chilling case. It spans continents, links pasts, and it's packed with high-tech twists.
Absolutely.
We've got a stack of fascinating sources laying out this, well, intricate web of murder, mystery, and some intensely personal vendettas.
Oh,
Our mission for you today is to cut through all that information and unearth the surprising facts connecting these brutal crimes in a futuristic New York City.
and what's really captivating, I think, is how these seemingly separate events, all fueled by this old, dark history, they just converge with cutting-edge tech in the present day. This deep dive, it's really going to challenge us and you to connect the dots. Between victims who seem unrelated at first, a killer with this very specific, twisted motive.
And even the hidden pasts of the people trying to solve it all.
Exactly. Get ready for some serious aha moments, I think, as these layers start to peel back.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The very first event that really kicks off this whole chilling case, our sources take us to Neo-NYC and the gruesome discovery of Thomas X. Brennan. He's a big communications tycoon, found in his luxury tower's penthouse.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Eve Dallas arrives, and the scene is just horrific. Blood painted on the blue silk walls, one of Brennan's hands actually severed at the wrist. But beyond the obvious horror, what about that scene immediately signaled something different to the investigator?
Well, a really crucial detail almost right away was the window. It was found only like 3 feet off the floor.
So 3 feet.
Yeah, so this wasn't some random break-in, not a simple robbery gone wrong. That window placement, plus the extreme brutality of the dismemberment, it told Lieutenant Dallas immediately this was no ordinary murder.
Right.
This was calculated, vicious, designed really to send a message, a very specific one.
And then almost immediately Eve gets this chilling phone call. It's the killer.
Right on her comms, yeah.
He claims he's doing his work, says he's blessed by the Lord, and that he's washed himself in the blood of his enemy. This self-proclaimed angel of vengeance. He's speaking in riddles, biblical quotes. What does that tell us about his mindset right off the bat?
Oh, it speaks volumes. The fact that he contacts Eve directly so quickly and the way he talks, he isn't just killing people, he's like orchestrating a performance. It's a holy mission in his mind, designed to grab attention and maybe even more disturbingly, admiration from the lead investigator.
Admiration?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not just about the act of killing, it's about control and this profound, distorted sense of self-importance.
And almost like underlining that performance, the first piece of physical evidence left behind, it's this small enameled token.
Mm-hmm.
One side has a 4-leaf clover. The other has what Eve first called a funny shape. Later, it's ID'd as a fish. Seems like a small detail, but loaded with symbolism, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely loaded. And this is where the killer's motive starts hinting at these really deep personal ties. Thomas Brennan, despite having supposedly gone straight years ago, cutting ties with less desirable elements, he was an Irish citizen.
Okay.
And that's our first real flicker of connection to Eve's husband, Roarke. Because Roarke knew Brennan from their past back in Dublin.
Right. And for anyone familiar with Roarke and Eve's history, that immediately adds this whole other layer of complexity.
Yeah, totally.
And the plot thickens almost right away, doesn't it? Early security discs from the luxury towers, they show Rourke's aide, Somerset,
Yes, Somerset.
entering the building on the day Brennan was murdered,
Yeah.
but apparently never leaving.
Which is impossible, right? You have to leave eventually.
Exactly. So that immediately throws up huge red flags for Eve. It puts someone incredibly close to her husband under intense suspicion right from the start.
Mm-hmm.
How does that kind of immediate blurring of personal and professional lines, how does that impact an investigation this big?
Oh, it creates this immense internal conflict for Eve, for the lead detective. She's suddenly forced to navigate not just the crime scene clues, but the potential implications for her closest relationships. This isn't just a puzzle anymore. It's become this deeply personal challenge to her trust, to her dedication to the law, especially when the initial evidence seems to point right inside her own circle.
Yeah, you can feel that tension right away.
Mm-hmm.
And the killer. He wasn't done. Not by a long shot. The game escalated fast. Another riddle comes through.
Another one.
This time setting a really tight deadline, 24 hours to save the next victim. The target's described as someone who hastens to be rich and has a lying tongue. Again, echoing those biblical verses.
Mm-hmm.
What does this pattern tell us? The riddles, the specific victim types. What does it reveal about how this killer operates?
Well, this is pretty classic for a certain type of offender. Highly organized, psychologically driven. It's a deliberate taunt, isn't it? He's forcing the police to engage, but on his terms, making them active participants in his twisted game.
Right, he's controlling the narrative.
Exactly. He's not just killing, he's dictating the pace, the rules of engagement. And that speaks to that massive but also unstable ego we talked about earlier.
Okay, so the next target identified is Sean Conroy, an Irish barman, worked at a place called the Green Shamrock,
Another Irish connection.
and another former associate of Rourke's from Dublin. Apparently, Conroy was setting up some kind of outside gig, maybe through, quote, Rourke's man, and Conroy's murder scene. Just as shocking as Brennan's. Maybe even more so, symbolically.
Indeed. He was found in one of Rourke's own properties, one that was unoccupied. His arms were stretched wide, palms literally nailed to the floor.
Nailed.
Yeah. This wasn't, uncontrolled rage. The brutality was incredibly calculated, designed to send another very specific, deeply symbolic message. It hints at something almost ritualistic, like a twisted form of justice being enacted.
And just like with Brennan, they find another one of those tokens on Conroy. Shamrock on one side, fish on the other.
A calling card again.
But crucially, there's also a statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary at the scene. And Eve quickly realizes she'd seen a similar statue at Brennan's wife's home.
Oh, okay.
What does this recurring symbolism, especially the religious imagery, suggest about the killer's motivations now?
It strongly suggests this powerful, personal, and profoundly twisted symbolism for the killer. Dr. Mira, the behavioral psychologist brought in, she later gives this chilling profile.
What does she say?
She described him as a sociopath with a holy mission, a sadist with skill, someone who is both focused and unstable, driven by that massive and unstable ego.
Wow.
He craved admiration, remember, even from Eve herself. And the religious stuff, the statues, the quotes. In Mira's view, it wasn't about genuine faith. It was a justification for his horrific acts, making him feel divinely sanctioned, at least in his own warped mind.
So what this development really highlights for you listening to this is that it's not just about solving a crime. It's about trying to understand the insidious psychology of vengeance, how it can completely warp someone's perception, making them believe their actions are righteous, even holy.
Exactly. And the killer's relentless game just continued, pushing those emotional stakes higher and higher. The next victim was Jenny O'Leary, another Irish associate from Rourke's past.
Another one.
Yep, she was booked into a hotel suite via Roarke Industries, no less, found murdered, tranquilized first, and yes, another token left behind.
So each victim is like a carefully chosen piece in this elaborate, vengeful puzzle he's building.
Precisely.
And then he targets Eve directly. A car bomb planted in the police garage.
Unbelievable.
Talk about escalating the game. I mean, this attack showed he was willing to eliminate anyone who got in his way. It made the fight deeply personal for Eve. What does that shift in targeting tell us? Is he getting more confident or maybe more desperate?
It's a significant escalation, definitely. He's no longer just picking off his chosen victims from the past. Now he's directly challenging the person trying to stop him in the present. It's a bold move. It could signal immense confidence in his plan, Or maybe a desperate need to control everything, eliminate any threats to his mission.
And this is the point, isn't it, where the deeper why behind the killer's motive finally starts to become clear.
Yes. Under all this pressure, Roarke finally reveals this devastating story from his past.
About Somerset's daughter?
Exactly. Somerset's teenage daughter, Marlena, brutally murdered in Dublin years ago. 6 men killed her, and among them were individuals connected to Brennan and Conroy, the first 2 victims.
Okay. The connection.
And Roarke, well, in his own quest for justice, or maybe vengeance, he later gained enough power and enough skill, as he put it, to go after them. And he killed those men.
Well, okay. How did that revelation about Rourke's own violent past immediately reshape Eve's investigation?
Oh, it just upended everything for her. For anyone who's followed Lieutenant Dallas, this challenges her core belief in the law, profoundly. It forces her to reconcile her duty with the stark reality of Rourke's past actions. That tension between her by-the-book approach and his, prior extra-legal vengeance, that becomes the central agonizing dilemma for her.
It doesn't matter what I know, it matters what I can prove. That's her struggle, right?
Exactly. She has to find the truth, even if it implicates the person closest to her. It really showcases her loyalty, but also her unwavering dedication to the badge.
But amidst all this escalating personal horror, there was a moment, a glimmer of hope maybe, that showed the killer wasn't completely untouchable.
That's right. The attempted murder of Patrick Murray.
Another Irish associate.
Yes. He was found in a water-filling tank at a place called the Mermaid Club. But Eve and Roarke, they got there just in time. They saved his life.
How significant was that near miss? Did it change the dynamic?
Incredibly significant, I'd say. Because for the first time, despite the killer's meticulous planning, his victim wasn't a foregone conclusion. It showed that good police work, combined with, frankly, Roarke's resources and Eve's quick thinking, could beat him. It was the first real crack in his seemingly perfect facade.
Okay, this brings us closer to unmasking this angel of vengeance.
Yeah.
The big breakthrough came from Detective McNabb, right? From
Yeah.
EDD.
Yeah, McNabb from Electronic Crimes. Initially maybe seen by some as just a pretty boy, but an absolute genius with electronics.
So what was his critical discovery? It was technical, wasn't it?
Highly technical. McNabb didn't just find a signal from the killer's untraceable comm. He found an electronic echo, like a digital fingerprint, so precise.
Okay.
It traced back to Roarke's own most secure, unreleased R&D infrastructure, his research and development division.
Wait, from Rourke's own systems?
Exactly. This wasn't just bouncing a signal off a satellite. This meant the killer was somehow using Roarke's own bleeding-edge network like a private, untraceable phone line. It revealed this shocking level of insider access and serious technical skill.
Wow. So this technical marvel led them straight to the killer's identity.
Pretty much directly. This breakthrough pointed straight to a college student named Liam Calhoun,
Calhoun.
son of one of the men Roarke had killed years ago to avenge Marlena.
The intergenerational vengeance.
Right there. And get this, Liam Calhoun was also known as A. Dillard, an employee working inside Roarke's R&D division.
An inside man.
Unbelievable.
It really cemented the nature of this vendetta.
But Liam wasn't acting entirely alone, was he? The sources reveal his mother, Mary Patricia Calhoun. She was involved.
Deeply involved. And she'd been hiding in plain sight as Audrey Morell, an artist. An artist who, believe it or not, Somerset knew.
No way. What was her role? How did she help him?
Mary Patricia was crucial. She had planted bugs, hidden cameras, microphones inside Somerset's own living quarters. Inside Rourke's house.
Yes. And maybe most disturbingly, she enabled her son. She provided him with access to Roarke's unreleased, cutting-edge technology. She wasn't just complicit, she was an active participant, driven by her own bitterness and grief over her husband's death years before.
And the killer's lair, where they eventually found Liam and his mother.
Yeah.
That was disturbing too, right?
Oh, yeah. It was this hidden hole, literally behind a false wall in Mary Pat's converted pantry. And it was kitted out with state-of-the-art, unreleased electronics, all stolen from Roarke Industries.
So he's using Rourke's tech against him.
Exactly. And this inner sanctum, as they called it, was also adorned with religious symbols. Candles, a Virgin Mary statue, a crucifix.
How did that space kind of reflect Liam's distorted psychology?
Well, that inner sanctum was like a physical manifestation of his twisted piety, wasn't it? The mix of super advanced technology stolen from Roarke, which adds its own layer of irony in these traditional religious icons. It just speaks volumes about his belief that he was somehow divinely ordained to carry out this ancient vendetta, but using hypermodern tools. It really shows how these personal grudges, especially ones rooted in trauma, can just fester for years, and how technology can be chillingly twisted to serve these deeply irrational, destructive purposes.
Okay, so the final showdown. It gets about as personal as it can get.
Yeah.
Liam, incredibly, disguises himself as a cop.
Bold move.
Manages to infiltrate Rourke's house, finds Somerset, captures him, ties him up with cords. What was Liam's ultimate goal with Somerset?
Somerset. Well, as Marlena's father and the person Roarke originally sought vengeance for, he was the symbolic heart of Liam's final act. He wanted to inflict this deeply personal psychological torture, a mirror maybe of his own perceived suffering. It was the absolute culmination of his holy mission.
And his weapon of choice for this final act was particularly chilling.
Yeah.
A laser scalpel, a medical tool.
Yeah, designed for precision surgery.
He threatened Somerset's eye, his brain.
Yeah.
But Eve, even though she got injured herself in the process, showed incredible quick thinking and managed to disarm him.
What does the choice of that weapon, a laser scalpel, tell us?
It's not just precise, it's clinical, almost detached, isn't it? It speaks volumes about Liam's approach to torture here. Aiming for psychological terror, surgical precision, rather than just messy violence, it really highlights how even tools meant for healing can be terrifyingly repurposed when they're in the hands of a mind warped by vengeance.
And Eve, even injured, she deliberately taunts Liam, right? Plays on his madness, his ego.
Pokes all the buttons.
She reveals they know everything. His identity, his hidden hole, his mother's role, even telling him his mother is now locked in a cage. What impact did that have on Liam? It just shattered him. His whole carefully constructed facade of being this righteous avenger just crumbled. He wasn't the all-powerful angel anymore. He was cornered, exposed. Eve knew exactly how to use his unstable ego against him, and it created that critical opening.
Because then, enraged, Liam attacks Eve.
Hmm.
There's a brutal struggle. Eve manages to kick him, creates just enough space.
And right at that moment, Roarke enters, fires a stunner, brings
Yeah.
Liam down in what Eve described as a death dance.
A brutal end to a brutal game.
Yeah. In the aftermath, well, Pat Murray, the guy in the tank, he made a recovery. Somerset was cleared of any wrongdoing, obviously. But while the immediate threat was gone, the emotional impact of the case, that just lingered. Roarke actually personally took Jenny O'Leary's body back to Ireland. A sort of quiet acknowledgement, maybe, of the deep historical wounds this case ripped open.
What a journey this has been, through vengeance, technology, these deeply personal battles. This case really highlights how those lines between personal and professional can blur, sometimes with devastating consequences, and just how far some people will go for their own twisted sense of justice.
Indeed. And this case powerfully illustrates how those echoes of the past, both personal and generational, can shape truly extreme actions in the present. It forces us, I think, to consider the enduring power of these old grievances, even in our super advanced world. And it certainly makes you wonder, doesn't it? How easily can immense knowledge and skill technology developed for progress be perverted for destructive ends, especially when it's fueled by a deeply personal vendetta?
Yeah, this deep dive leaves us with so much to unpack, really. From those surprising connections popping up in the most unlikely places, to that unwavering loyalty Eve showed, even facing impossible choices. It's a powerful reminder of how interwoven our lives can become, sometimes with devastating results.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it really encourages us to consider those ripple effects of past traumas and the chilling effectiveness of an enemy who truly understands you, even if that understanding comes from hate. It also makes you wonder, when is an eye for an eye truly satisfied, and what does that kind of justice or vengeance really leave behind in its wake? Definitely something to mull over until our next deep dive.
Until next time, stay curious and keep digging deeper.